we begin with the surreal night at the Garden that had absolutely nothing to do with the Knicks and the Clippers. Play was halted momentarily during the first half when former Knick great Charles Oakley was escorted out of the arena by security. As you might expect, Oakley did not go quietly, and it took several security members to ultimately get him into the tunnel, where he was reportedly handcuffed before leaving the Garden. During the game, the Knicks issued this statement, quote, Charles Oakley came to the game tonight and behaved in a highly inappropriate and completely abusive manner. He has been ejected and is currently being arrested by the New York City Police Department. He was a great Knick, and we hope he gets help soon. Stephen Bondi of the Daily News is at the Garden. He has more.
Charles Oakley was seated near the Knicks bench, and according to one witness, he was yelling things about Knicks owner James Dolan. Now, those two have a history. They don't get along. In fact, in a recent New York Times article, Oakley basically challenged Dolan to come meet him and lock themselves in a room and see what happens. So they don't get along, and Oakley was shouting things about Dolan. Security got involved. They told him to leave. He didn't want to leave. Things escalated from there. He ended up pushing somebody. Oakley was then escorted out of the arena in handcuffs. Actually, he got in handcuffs as he was out of the arena. Reporters were not allowed in that area, although witnesses tell me that Oakley was shouting things about James Dolan, and even Phil Jackson came in and tried to console him. That didn't work. Oakley was very emotional, and eventually he was taken away to the police station.
Stephen, thank you. Now, Frank Isola of the Daily News also tweeted tonight that Charles Oakley will not be spending the night in jail. He'll receive a desk appearance ticket. So time now for Double Take with Mark and Sal. And gentlemen, what's your reaction to what we saw tonight at the Garden?
Well, I mean, it's shocking. I mean, the fact is, you know, I grew up being a Knicks fan, and I love Charles Oakley as a player. And he played with a lot of heart. He played with a lot of intensity. And those were the glory days of me being a Knicks fan, even though they never won a championship. And how the Knicks have handled Oakley in specific, and Patrick Ewing is another example, and guys that really bled for that organization, gave it all for that organization, I really think is deplorable. I mean, because, yes, Oakley has not spoke kindly of James Dolan, but to ask a Knicks fan in this city if they're going to speak kindly of James Dolan, and they're really not. I mean, James Dolan is that kind of owner. He's been that kind of divisive kind of a leader for this franchise. And for Charles Oakley, listen, does he need to go out there? Does he have to control himself? Yes, he's got to control himself. He can't be going out there being led out of handcuffs. But if he's going out there screaming things at James Dolan over the course of the game, and he has a paid ticket, there are a lot of fans throughout the course of at Madison Square Garden that are yelling things at James Dolan throughout the course of a game.
And this has been escalating for years. I mean, that's the issue here. The Knicks somehow under James Dolan treat guys like Baron Davis with more respect than they do Charles Oakley. And I'm with you. We grew up rooting for those 90s teams. Those guys are royalty in this city because they played with max effort, heart. Every single night they put everything on the line. No one more so than Charles Oakley. Right. To see the disrespect that has been going on for years, the way that they treated him, and then to see tonight, I mean, Moose, he's lying on the floor here. They're treating him like he's a criminal. This is Charles Oakley we're talking about. That is despicable, deplorable, and honestly, how can you I don't care if you grew up a Knicks fan, how can you support this team? Why would you ever go to the Garden again after they're treating one of the Knicks legends like that?
Well, and the other thing is the statement. Hopefully he goes out there and gets help soon. Help with what? I mean, honestly, what? Cancel the MSG subscription? Stop watching Knicks basketball? Because that's really what it comes down to right now. The very fact is it is an absolute mess at Madison Square Garden. And I totally agree with you. When you look at this scenario, when you look at Charles Oakley, who's not been treated properly by this franchise, a lot of frustration came and boiled up tonight at Madison Square Garden. Unfortunately, it led to the scenario it led to.
Yeah, it's just an ugly situation. It should have never gotten to that point. Now, you're right. Look, Oak needs to control himself better. You can't be putting your hands on people, but those things escalate quickly. You've been in those situations, and, you know, guys are just saying all of a sudden, we're getting you out of here, and he's thinking, what am I doing? All I'm doing is yelling.
Right, I paid my ticket.
Yeah, right. And
you're not giving me a ticket.
Correct, and it should have never even gotten to that point. If there are certain guys that could get away with certain things in life, Charles Oakley should be able to get away with a little extra at Madison Square Garden.
Well, and the difference is he doesn't take anything. The guys are in the good graces at Madison Square Garden, and there's a reason why they are. They play the game.
Well, more details certainly will come out about this one. Sal, Moose, thanks a lot for stopping by for Double Take.